Julantru, greetings and welcome aboard my flagship, the USS ShadowStar. And, can I just say, a massive thank you to Negus, Dante Demonic, Skyhawkings, Tribal Typhoon, XG Blackbird, Travis Games, Spike, Captain Riggs, Miss Future Teach, Fox Plays Games and Lord Arminger for their generosity and support to help to make this video, among others, possible. It is at their grace that I invite you, members of the Federation, the Klingon Empire, the Romulan Republic, and the Dominion, to take your seats. The replicators are ready. Please get a beverage of your choice, as I welcome you to this Star Trek Online stats review and introduce you to the Adamant class. Because when the Federation stands defiant, the Terrans will be adamant you bend the knee. Okay, Cryptic, I kind of see what you did there. So, this is her. This beautiful, mighty and deadly starship. The newest iteration added to the Defiance line. And I'm not gonna lie, the Apollo is kind of meh. The Valiant, I wasn't really that fond of. Looks wise at least. Stats wise, it's a good ship. The Legendary Defiant, that was just lazy to me. Damn nose art. But I do like the Legendary Defiant a lot. This ship. Yes, we may not get everything else that comes in the Defiant line with this ship, but you do know what we get. We get one hell of a heavy raider and a monstrosity of power. This is a tactical DPS beauty. And so, as part of a change, and without further ado, we will start, instead of with what I normally do first, we're skipping straight to the stats, and we will look at customization and comment on what we do and do not get with this ship customization wise in a moment. Now, the first thing I do want to note is that this ship is part of the Terran bundle, and overall right now, being able to purchase this bundle for 13,125 Zen while it is on sale, it is a major steal, since that is about £80 sterling, what I know of currency, and considering in the same currency an individual Zen ship at 3,000 Zen is £21 roughly. Therefore, considering you get 5 ships in this bundle and one of them is actually a previous lockbox ship and actually a monstrosity of power that could have cost you anywhere between £100 to £300 just trying to get that one ship, this bundle, even at full price, is 100% worth it. To make things even better though, you can buy each of the main Terran ships, the 4 in question, as Zen Store ships at 3,000 Zen. So if you only want one of the 4 ships in the bundle, you can acquire it that way. Great way possibly to get a hold of this ship. This ship though, God, do I recommend it to tactical players. Let's begin with her stats, shall we? First out the bat, she is a tier 6 type raider with a level 65 hull of 51,000, hello, 750. I can English, I swear. Hull modifier of 1.15 and a shield modifier of 1.8. Turn rate of 20, impulse modifier of 0.22, inertia rating of 75, and a dangerously impressive bonus power settings to weapons of +20. Full bonus power given straight into those weapons, why not? Her experimental weapon we can go into later, along with the fact that she equips dual cannons and has a replacement for the quad cannons on her. She is a 5-1 weapon layout vessel. You could say 5-2 if you count the experimental weapon. That is really good. 2 device slots. Her console layout is a nice 5 tactical, 3 engineering, and 3 science. Upgrading this ship can help her become a monstrosity of power. Again, definitely as a hybrid DPS, but 100% as a tactical DPS. She's not too bad at support either. Why do I say this? Well, yes, her weakest area is tanking. There are ways to support tanking, but she's an escort. Actually, no, she's a raider. Why the hell are you tanking with a raider? Lunatics! Support-wise though, she's an absolute beauty for this. Very quick and agile, easily able to get into the fray and help out any allies in need. She makes for a great emergency hill boat, or a great rapid control boat or drain boat. But she gets better when you consider using her as a straight up DPS vessel. No special space wizardry, let's just go straight in the full-blown tactical capabilities of this ship. She will devastate your enemies. One of the biggest and most important areas of tactical DPS is the weapons power setting, and having plus 20 to your weapons power and easy ways to boost this even higher. This ship will be a monstrosity. Guaranteed you will never be out of weapon power. But I haven't even said the final bits of her stats yet. No, the final part of her stats are her bridge officers, which of course, as she is a raider, comes down to one specific and multiple universal. In this ship's case, we have a commander tactical, a pair of lieutenant commanders, a lieutenant and an ensign universal seats, and of those, the tactical commander has intelligence specialization, and the lieutenant universal has temporal operative specialization. Again, this helping the ship, one, become incredibly a lot stronger really, DPS wise, than possibly even the legendary warship, though I hesitate a little bit to say that. The legendary warship does have certain things in its favour, but this ship also, with that temporal operative, that kind of pushes it over more, and is where it becomes very strong both DPS wise and psi magic wise, but also support wise again. Frankly, this ship has got exactly what it needs to, if not challenge, surpass the legendary warship. But don't take my word on it just there. Let's have a look at her trait, stats, consoles, and secret weapons. Yes! God, doesn't she look good from below. You know what else looks good though? Getting her off my screen. The special things you get with this ship. Now, there are some things to note here. Actually, there's a lot to note here. First of all, this ship only comes with its one console. However, if you have the previous either Valiant and Sapolo, or you have, hold it, the legendary Defiant warship, then you may have access to the other two consoles. Allow me to show these down here now. Oh, another two consoles of a certain set. The first thing we're going to talk about on this ship is that console set itself and the special weapon forward cannons you get. Now, I have not got mine fully upgraded to damage times 4, which means you cannot see the full outgoing power of these weapons. Do not underestimate them. First of all, let's take it at a glance. I'm going to take these ones off quickly and put the higher ones forward so we can see this a bit better. There is, with these new Agony phaser quad cannons, both 2 benefits and essentially 1 negative. First of all, we'll talk about the benefits here. Benefit number 1 is that it has been added to and included in the original Stealth Fighter set. That Stealth Fighter set being the quad phaser cannons, or the phaser quad cannons, sorry, the cloaking device, and the quantum warhead module. Now, with the update, the cloaking device and the quantum warhead module have now been unlocked and can be used on any ship. Not that you would 100% want to. I personally would not literally advise doing that to every ship, giving every ship cloaking, because let's be fair, you are losing a console position to do that. And some ships already have cloaking, like this ship. The Terran Adamant Heavy Raider already has cloaking. Adding this on it just gives it 2 cloaks. And it's got a barrel cloak, so why would you do that? But the quantum warhead, you might want to do that with. And that is because with the 2-piece set, you gain Overcloaked, which is a 20% boost to recharge time. Sorry, 20% recharge time reduction from your cloaking device, which is very nice to have, and a boost in critical chance and critical severity. It's very, very useful to have. But there's a reason why I haven't equipped it. Because that's more better for kinetic builds, if I'm honest. But why would I mention having this? Because this console comes from the Valiant. Sorry, the Valiant comes from the Valiant. And the Valiant doesn't come with the phaser quad cannon, so you wouldn't have the 2-piece set. But because the Agony phasers have been included in the Stealth Fighter set, you can still have that 2-piece if you really wanted it. Lord will have mercy, I'm currently looking at this and thinking to myself, why don't I swap out my vulnerability exploiter? But then, no, vulnerability exploiter here, give me the quantum damage that I wanted, is sufficiently stronger. There's another benefit to this Agony phaser quad cannons though, and that should now be visible on screen. As you can see, I've got it now compared to the Agony phaser dual heavy cannons, the phaser quad cannons, and in the middle is the weapons that you get with this ship, the Agony phaser cannons, but not properly upgraded as I would like them to be. One thing can be noted though, the Agony phaser quad cannons and the phaser quad cannons at damage times 4 deal the exact same damage output and DPS. But the Agony variant has a secondary addition, something that gives it unbelievable extra potential, especially when it comes to exotic building. That is the bonus phaser damage proc for 15 seconds that ignores shields, similar to plasma weapons bonus plasma damage proc that will ignore shields. This will vary depending on your how much you boosted phaser damage, and also on your exotic particle generation, though I do believe this is although it seemingly seems to count as exotic damage in certain situations, it's boosted, the console's damage, this weapon's damage, sorry, is boosted primarily by phaser. So you'd have to be boosting phaser damage to boost its potential. That being said, if it isn't entirely obvious yet looking at that screen, there's something to note. The Agony phaser quad cannons are quite easily a replacement to both phaser quad cannons, and because the proc doesn't stack, the phaser damage proc does not stack with Agony, it's technically a replacement for the Agony phaser dual heavy cannons too, as they do deal, the quad cannons do deal even more damage. dealing 1,620 DPS rather than 1,540 DPS. There's just one slight hitch, and this is the negative I was talking about. Could you imagine if you could equip both the quad cannons? Then you 100% would, wouldn't you? They definitely deal more damage. Why wouldn't you equip both? They fire slightly faster than the heavy cannons as well. And they look better. The problem is that would seriously upset some of the balance in the game. So I can understand why they have made it so that you can only equip either the phaser quad cannons or the agony phaser quad cannons. Unfortunately, this kind of obsoletes now. Well, doesn't completely obsolete, but if you have access to both, you would use the agony. And that's my main hitch with it at the moment. Bit sad. I've spoken a long time on these quad cannons. Let's move on to the next thing. The experimental weapon. Terran repeating warhead launcher. Now this... oh, it's great. It's great. It can be re-engineered if you wished. The re-engineering allows you to boost the crits, either crit X, crit damage, crit hit, accuracy, or damage. You can also modify the essentially epic modifier, the accuracy damage modifier. If you wish, that has the usual options into it. It doesn't have a massive firing arc. With 135 degrees though, it is still quite effective. Hang on a second, I will show you guys. Give you guys a rough idea of the arc. Yoink. There we go. So, almost as substantial as your typical beam weapons. As you can see, it's actually superior to your cannons. And for me, that's a really, really big deal. To top this off, it deals, well, 4,868.6 kinetic damage times 3 in my case, with direct shield penetration. And that's not even with a damage proc, or yeah, sorry, damage modifier on it. Oh, it's got one damage modifier, but you know what I mean. Honestly speaking here, this weapon is a very, very powerful experimental weapon, and in all honesty, 100% a go-to for kinetic builds, obviously, and actually has now replaced my original favourites, and actually a couple of my original favourites, for my personal choices. Those that know in the past know that I am a huge fan of the experimental railgun for other reasons. If it isn't entirely obvious here now though, can you see why the Terran repeating warhead launcher is better? Let's keep in mind this. The majority of ships with experimental weapons are a forward biased attacking ship, so there's nothing wrong with it not having 360 degrees. As long as it's got over a 90-degree arc, I would say it's good. Good to go, ready and fighting. I mean, it's got a better arc than cannons. Seriously. If I was to rate this experimental weapon right now, I'd give it 9 out of 10. There's only a couple I think are better. Onto the console. We have the Universal Agony Redistributor. Okay guys, so I'm having to cut out now the bit where I talk about the console and the trait, and now I'm going to reintroduce this. Why? After we go into the flight and testing, I get a little bit nudged, and I have to test something. My findings aren't 100% here, really, I'm going to need to get someone, maybe even the guy this ship is named after, to help me out here. To help me test the very, very high end. But what I've done is I've taken 2 consoles. The console you get with this ship and a cheap to acquire console, and tested them against each other on both a very low end and my high end, which is really a mid-range build. This is why I need someone to test the absolute high. See, what I found here is important. So let me first of all talk about the console you get. With this ship you get the Agony Redistributor console with a bit meh passives, great for speed, but that's it. These passives give you a +10 to inertia rating and a +17.1% flight speed. Now, the active ability, the way it talks about itself isn't really what happens. So let me see if I can explain it better for you guys. What happens is you will choose a target to affect with this active ability. The target affected should be and should remain as your primary target from this point onwards. Better for you to be beam overloading really than beam fire at will, for example. Why? Because you want the maximum amount of damage possible. Depending on how much damage you deal per second, 100% of the damage you deal per second is stored. Then 33% of that damage is redirected at nearby foes, affecting up to 20 foes within 5 kilometers of your target. Now, this isn't 33% split between 20 foes, this is 33% to each foe. So it is actually really powerful. This is per second and will last for 20 seconds. Essentially, it actually lasts for 21 seconds because once the actual ability ends, the final output of AoE damage is dealt the second after. Its range is 5 kilometers. Fine. It can affect up to 20 foes. Fine. It's actually really powerful. At the low end, it has a set amount, but the stronger you are, the more powerful its output. Because, in essence, this stacks. You have effectively your own output in damage. Now, if you deal 1,000 damage, or you deal 1,000,000 damage, that 33% massively changes, doesn't it? That is how effective this console works. The better your damage output, the better this console is going to work for you. As a part, you have its counterpart, which has effectively a better passive, but not a better active. You see, the effects of approaching agony is, again, it's an AoE agony phaser damage that it deals. Now, this is agony phaser damage, so it should technically proc the phaser damage over time, but it doesn't. That doesn't exist with this console. What it does do is it fires a projectile at a target. When it's reached that target, the projectile rapidly expands to encompass a set AoE area. Within this area, enemies will find their movement speed is reduced and their resistance is debuffed. As you can guess, this actually makes this console better at hitting more targets than Agony Redistributor. This console doesn't actually have an upper limit of the number of targets it can affect, so long as they are in the field of the agony, so long as they are in the agony field itself, they will be affected by this console. It will deal every half second 1,000 damage, so around 2,000 damage per second. However, unlike Agony Redistributor, that means there's no way to really amp up this damage. Just because you're dealing a lot more damage doesn't mean this console will. This console does, however, reduce damage resistances by 25 and has a chance of disabling the target that you're firing at within that realm, within the area of effect. There's a 25% chance, that it will disable said target. Now, Overall, I was wondering which one would turn out to be better, and it's exactly as you'd probably expect. If you're talking low end, early game, mid game, Approaching Agony is stronger than Agony Redistributor. Definitely if you're talking unmodified ships and all you've done is add this one of the two consoles on, Approaching Agony is far more powerful. But once you get to my level, they are on par with each other, they're equal, and this is why I really need to get someone who is above me to test this. If they are equal at my level, and I'm not powerful, then what will they do for someone who can hit the millions easily? That's what I want to see, because the problem is this. Is there a point where the Agony Redistributor metals off and goes the opposite way? Is there a point where the Agony Redistributor actually becomes a worse console to have again? For example, you target a foe with it, destroy the foe within a couple of shots, and then only 33% of that damage is passed on to your nearbys. Yes, that's done a lot of damage, but does the console really achieve its output then? Because this console ends its effect once the first target is destroyed. Approaching Agony will continue until its time is out. Which one is better? Honestly, if I'm going to say it, I do feel like Agony Redistributor is the better console. Just with bad passives. As a result, I will give this console, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. It's powerful so long as you're powerful. That's what this console is all about. Now, quickly to talk about it, we have the Wild Weasel's trait. Happily, because I've already talked about this once, I can explain this much better now. The way this works is activating any evasive maneuvers or intel bridge officer ability will spawn a taunting decoy pet. This taunting decoy pet will acquire the attention of up to 20, I believe it was, it's 15 or 20 projectile weapons, and the 5 nearest enemy ships. And they will go after it. It's tough, but the pet will be destroyed very quickly. Now, there doesn't seem to be essentially a cooldown on this. You could say 20 seconds is its cooldown, so hopefully the pet survives 20 seconds. But, so long as you can proc an intel or evasive maneuvers ability, from the sounds of it, you can trigger off this pet, and therefore help yourself avoid damage. It's effectively your tank if you're flying solo, but that's the problem. That makes this a solo trait. It's a trait for players that fly solo or fly without a tank. Great if you want to do a fighter squadron of raiders, which would be pretty cool to see, but at the same time, that's a very niche thing, and it will set itself to only set uses. The moment you have a tank on the field with you, the most this trait's uses is to prevent the tank from going down. And tanks are survivors, so I highly doubt you're going to need to use a trait to help them stay alive. Honestly, this trait, kind of meh. As a result, I'm going to give it 4 out of 10. Bad side effect here. Sorry, Adamant, but bad side effect. Oh well. Well, suffice to say, now my mistake right now was I said, let's go into action, and I went straight into action. No, we're supposed to look at customization now, so let's actually do that. Well, we would be taking the ship into action, except I've literally... Okay, no, I have taken the ship into action. Can you tell? But I totally forgot an important part. The quick look at customization. What is normally step 1 is now step 2. Yes, I'm an idiot, people. Yes, I'm an idiot. I'm so going to end up using my actual... I don't want to leave my Federation character to make a new main. I would lose so much. Oh, here we go. Right, customization-wise. So, of course, we have the mirror Adamant. When looking at that, we have the Federation Adamant, which... I do find it funny that when you swap between them, the colour palette turns black. Hence, a joke I'm going to make of the Mirror Defiant should really have that bit black, and I actually end up doing that. Because I just feel like that's fitting. And it is, really. It's the Mirror Universe, they're very dark. Along with the Adamant and the Mirror Adamant, you also get the Mirror Defiant paint job. That will also come with, whoops, well, I've got it, Defiant, Gallant, Vigilant, and the beta, what's it, the beta or the refit components of the two, depending on them, sorry, there you go, depending on what you're using. This is the awkward part, is the fact that you do have the Vigilant and Gallant, which do have refit variations of each other. Primarily you see the refit nowadays. To top these off, you do have the customization options of Defiant, Fleets. Oh no, I do believe you only get the Fleet if you've got Legendary. Galaxy, which looks really good on the... I'm sorry, looks very, very nice on the Adamant, especially the Mirror Adamant. Intrepid, NX refit, Sovereign refit, Type 0 if you want to go there, and all the ones beyond. Of course, the mirrors using the new Type 7A, which looks very nice actually on the ships. I do think it's a substantial upgrade on Type 7, which has always, in my opinion, been excessively bright. Like, too white. Calm it down. Cryptic. It's definitely a better look for the ship. You can customize out the saucer, the hull, the pylons, and the nacelles. The pylons being those front sections. Unfortunately, I would honestly say 9 times out of 10, modifying the pylons to be anything different from what they are on with the hull just tends to make them not fit. For example, there's the Apollo, doesn't really fit in place. Valiant kind of works. That's an interesting one. Okay, if you wanted to have that feel on the ship. It's nice. I've just noticed there's fins there that I never noticed before. It's nice to be able to modify the whole ship out. And they have fixed the nacelle issue. So you can now switch between the nacelles and you don't end up with one Adamant, one Defiant nacelle, for example. I say. It was only fixed with the patch today, which is what's held off me doing this recording a little bit, along with weather. Honestly, there's plenty of customizations wise. If you want a fitting bridge to use for this ship, I would recommend using the Belfast, if I can find it. This is the problem with having all the bridges. You now can't find the ones you're looking for. Or Virtue. Hang on. Nope, Virtue wasn't it. Nomad, Temple, Unity, Yeet. Oh, there you go. So, yeah, there's Belfast. Key and Eutropa actually... Key, Eutropa and Warship actually work for this ship as well, funny enough. Belfast, I feel, is the more accurate one for the Defiant. But these feel almost equally as fitting. It's like a refit period. Okay, long enough. Let's go into action. Time for some action. I will admit, this is not my preference look, but hey. I just feel like this has to be done. Now then, we are going to charge my foe. Hopefully I can keep the others nearby to him. Set that off and fire away. Oh look, wipe out. Oh, that didn't take long, did it? I didn't even use all my power. Jem'Hadar Heavy Raider. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Look at me cloak. That cloak looked amazing. Oh. Really cryptic. You've updated its cloak. I'm in adorance of you right now. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Out he goes. Come on, quick to the Keldon. Quick to the Keldon. Full steam ahead. Whoop. Oh god. Come back round. Let's get you another pass. This Keldon doesn't really stand a chance, if I'm honest. Oh, for those wondering, allow me to show you what the warhead module looks like. Fire! It's also very, very powerful. Yink. Excuse me. Eat that. There we go. Oh, my shields are out. Do you mind? I have a distinct disdain of being shot at. Thank you. Okay, let's pull back a little bit here. Come here! Oh, that was mean of me. I'm not used to being this fast. It's not my style. I'm not a fast player. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so just to lock on and summarize here. She's a very good vessel. I'm going to give her that. I can't deny that about her, let's be fair. She's a beauty. Stunning to look at, stunning to fly. Now, obviously I can't recommend it to all players. As a heavy raider, she's not very defensive. She's defensive for a heavy raider, but she's not a very defensive ship. As a result, well, my scores for her are such. It's going to sound mean to me here. As far as tanking goes, in general, I'm going to give her 5 out of 10. This is because that although she doesn't have very high tanking capabilities, in fact it's very, very low, and technically if I was thinking of her as a cruiser or something that is directly normally a good tank, should score lower. That's my point. I'm going to give her 5 out of 10 as a bit of mercy because, just to be frank, she's a heavy raider with some fair durability. Not one that you can tank with. Someone's going to now tank with her, aren't they? But definitely going to be able to stand up in a fight. She's not too much of a glass cannon. Support players. You may be happier here. Thanks to her, well, thanks to the fact she's a raider, which leaves her with great flexibility with bridge officers, and with excellent capability of X upgrading and having 4 science console slots. Honestly, I'm going to give her, be blunt, I'm going to give her 7 out of 10. Now, the problem she has is that as much as she can do supporting roles, her big weakness is the temple operative is on the lieutenant seat, and the best she can do science bridge wise is a lieutenant commander science officer. and that gives you gravity well 1 and alike. So you won't be really getting the absolute best of controls. However, I'm not going to give her too low of a score because she's still actually really powerful as both drain and as a debuffer. So, since she can buff allies, debuff enemies, and drain out the enemy's defenses, that is why I give her, I'm going to say, a reasonable support score. DPS. Again. So, the debuffing factor comes into side DPS, as well as the amount of exotic damage it can deal. Now, that's not actually as hit as badly as support is, seeing as there are lots of ways to smash out some exotic damage. And this ship does have plenty there to assist it. If it had a secondary deflector, it'd be even better. So, as far as side DPS goes, I will give this ship 8 out of 10. Obviously, you can guess what gives it the final 2 marks. But as far as DPS goes, direct tactical DPS, she's a beauty. Fast, powerful, agile, easily into the fray and out of the fray, able to hit hard and go home. 100%, I'm giving this ship 9.5 out of 10. The only thing stopping her from going and getting that full mark is an extra weapon slot, or maybe having given the ship command seating, replacing the temporal with command. You'd have lost support capabilities from the ship, but oh boy, would you have gained something in command. Maybe even made it a command ship primarily and then yes, if you made it a command ship and then given it intel secondary, yeah, 100% that would have got it 10 out of 10. Now, the visual side of it and how cheap this ship is to acquire, the fact that it is about £20 sterling, so what is it, $25 roughly? It's not a bad ship. It's really effective, quick and powerful, beautiful, useful to anyone wanting to get into that DPS field, whether you are a new player or veteran to the game. This is a ship for you in the DPS category. So quite frankly, I'm going to be nice here. This ship gets 10 out of 10 from me. There's then another thing that's benefited it to get that 1 mark higher, to do just as well as the Gagarin does in my book, because the Gagarin is another 10 out of 10 with me. This ship is getting the same score, getting up there. Why? I've just told you. She's cheap, she's powerful, and she is, exactly as a heavy raider should be, a DPS powerhouse. Thank you, Cryptic, for this ship. You've done an absolutely beautiful and amazing job with the vessel. I'm going to have so much fun flying her. Guys, I hope to see you all in the future. Can I just say now, thank you for watching to the very end of this video. I hope it's been helpful and informative. I'm sorry to have gone off on one there at the end, but seriously, this ship has done some things that I've been begging Cryptic to get back to doing. I don't know if it's because Cryptic recently been taken over, or if Cryptic has learnt from the last 2 years of uh-ohs, but this is just was so needed in the game. I'm so happy about it. So yes, thank you for listening to me waffle on and enjoying this video, I hope. Hope it's been informative. If you have enjoyed the channel and are enjoying what we're doing, then maybe consider joining the ShadowStar crew by ringing that notification bell and subscribing to the channel. If you want to help us out even more, and with no cost to yourself, please maybe consider sharing this video out on your favourite social media platforms. Or just hitting the like, because that makes such a big difference. But the people making a massive difference with their generosity, I credited them at the beginning. I just want to say thank you to them again now at the end. showing up on the screen right now are wonderful donators, be it from straight up one-time donations, past Patreons, YouTube members, our Twitch subscribers. Thank you for your generosity in helping to make this video possible. Patrons, I hope you've realised that is gone now and will consider swapping over to YouTube members. YouTube members, keep an ear out for every time we do an Infinity or promo review, because if you want a chance of winning that ship, well, as a YouTube member, you have a chance. You'll be put straight into a draw for it. And can I just say to everyone, live long and prosper. Ciao for now. Let's go, Adamant class.